Yeah? And so what they did was, Game of Thrones was looking for a nice place that could be the haunted forest north of the wall. And they looked at a number of different locations, and this is one of the ones they came to. And they liked the look of it. And these are Norwegian spruce. They were planted here for forestry, but we're on the same latitude as Norway, but we never get as cold. So they just grow all the time. They grow like weeds. And you end up with this very high canopy and then this nice sort of effect that you've got rolling down through here. And so they came along here and they said, yes, this is where we would like to film. They liked the shape of this. This is a little old stone quarry. And so they came down to film. Now, like I say, this is Northern Ireland's busiest country park. You know, you can camp here, there's scout groups, there's all sorts of stuff happens down here, and it gets very, very busy. And so what they wanted to use as the set was, if you take this little ridge here, you go down there about 100 odd meters, across to the road, up the road, 20 or 30 meters and round. That's what they wanted to use as the set. So what they had to do then was they had to close it all off to the public. So they closed that bridge off that we closed. There's a little crossroads down there they closed. There's another little crossroads up there and some paths joining in. And they had to have security here 24 hours a day. Now the thing is, this is a big snow scene, isn't it? Yeah? So to make the snow, what they had to do was they took the set, they then carpeted the whole lot with a membrane, one of those breathable membranes that you would put in your garden to stop the weeds growing up. Then they started filling it up with paper snow. It took them 10 weeks to dress this set and tidy up for 3 days filming of 4.5 minutes of a television series nobody had ever seen. Yeah, it was totally bonkers. And that's 10 weeks. I mean, that's 10 weeks security. That's 10 weeks people down here working on the set, building it up, and then keeping their eye on it, you know, so people don't come down and have snowball fights in it and all the rest of it. For, like I say, for 3 days filming. And those 3 days filming, they had rain, they had hail, they had fog, you know, you name it, the weather threw it at them. And so it was quite a challenging time for them. Now the paper snow that they use is remarkable stuff. The best way to imitate it is if you get a toilet roll, you kind of split it into the 2 bits, and then you take a thin bit and you nibble it into tiny pieces. That's about the best way to describe it. And it comes out of a blowing machine, and they just start to layer it down and then work away. They put it down about that depth, right, over this whole area, up the sides of the trees and all the rest of it, and that gave you the big snowscape that you see at the start. And the paper snow is very effective. It's paper, so when you stand on it, it crunches. It actually makes a crunchy noise that sounds like snow. Because it's paper, it absorbs any moisture, so your footprints kind of go a wee bit muddy. I've seen people make snow angels in it. You know, I've seen people make yellow snow. So it does all the stuff that real snow does. And it's funny, it makes you feel cold. You know what I mean? You're here, you've got your 7 layers on, it's the middle of summer, if you're lucky, you have a nice day. And you're surrounded by snow, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's freezing. And so it's amazing stuff. Now, a couple of things came out of this. 10 weeks here, putting in snow, minding it, making sure nobody trashes it and all the rest of it, is quite an undertaking. So a couple of things came out of that. Number one, let's use the fully private estates, all right, as much as possible, particularly for things like this. So when they went to film Crasters, they didn't film it here. What they did was they went to Clandyboy Estate, and the reason they chose Clandyboy was because they also had a forest of these trees. The trees match up. And I was there when they did that, and they did exactly the same thing. Coated it all out, and then filled it up with paper snow. Amazing looking. And so they decided, right, let's use the fully private estates. And then what they decided then was, look, you know, we have to make it easier for our viewers and things like that. So we're going to start having these definite lines of, you know, this is one area, this is another. So they would have no snow south of the wall, until now, winter's arrived. And it was a way of then, so you guys watching it, you see a big snow scene, we're north of the wall. Then somebody hit upon a brilliant idea. Guess what? If you go to Iceland, the snow is free, and you do not have to tidy up afterwards. Do you know what I mean? And then they started to move those scenes to Iceland. Now, when they filmed here, they had the area that you guys are standing in, that was all built up with sandbags, yeah? So this became a bowl shape. So when you see young Will, right, Will, for those of you who don't recognize his name, Will is the young character that you see that comes along that discovers things. He comes along and he creeps up and looks in. That's him creeping up from behind. They had a big boom camera there. And he looks in and he sees all the arms and legs and heads. And then what does he do? He looks to his left and he sees a girl stuck to a tree. She was attached to this tree. There's still 2 bolt holes there. That's where her harness was attached to that tree, that she was hanging just there. Then he runs away back down, and he goes to get Garrett and Waymar Royce, and then they come back. Now, when Garrett and Waymar Royce come back, they don't see anything. So what you do is you film them the wrong way round. You film the scene first, yeah, where you've got nice, smooth, clean snow, and then you film the second scene with the arms and legs and heads afterwards, after everybody's run through it. Now, people quite often say, does this mean anything? Yeah, it doesn't, all right? Though I did see it pop up on a cave wall recently. It is, how can I put this? It is a device, all right? If the arms and legs and heads had been in there, and if you imagine they'd been formed by an explosion, right? So young Will would look in, and there'd just be splatters of bits of body all over the place, right? Now, for you as a viewer, that would have been difficult. If you line things up and make a shape out of them, our brain processes them quicker. Yeah? So if you have that shape in there, we can see it, and our eyes just follow the shape, and we can see its arms and legs and torsos. Yeah? So it's very simple. And so then you have a chase scene, don't you? You've got young Will running away, and then you've got the White Walkers coming and all the rest of it. What they did was they basically just charged the guys down through the woods. They had a series of cameras on rails that ran down that road, and the rails then, they went down as the guys went down through the woods. Now, you always know when somebody is running away on television because they go that way, all right? If somebody's going forwards, they go that way, all right? But if they're running away, they go that way. And what you will notice when you watch this is they're all running away this way. Then all of a sudden they're running back this way, and it looks wrong. And it's wrong because what happened was there wasn't much room. So they filmed them running down, then they filmed them running back, then they filmed them running down. And then the end of the sequence, they're actually running together along the road, yeah? Before they get the heads dropped off, yeah? So that was filmed just on the road at the end of the path. All right? That is getting a bit serious. We'll make our way down here and we'll see what else we can see before we get drowned.